Okay, Michael J. here. We've got Moose the Loose. Moose on the loose. Not Moose the Loose. He may be a loose moose, but he's Moose on the loose. And what do I mean by that? AKA David. Big David. So anyways, he says Mark Carney caught lying again. I think you're overblowing that situation there, David, but we will see. Jagmeet Singh humiliated, and Pierre Poilievre draws new record crowd in Oshawa. What is it with these wannabe Trumpsters? The size of your crowd's so friggin' important. You even have to lie about them. I'm not inferring that you're lying about the size of those crowds, but I know how important it is to put up a common affront to make things looking better than what they are. Looking better than what they are? Holy crap, do you think that's possible? Well, anything's possible in this world right now. Anything's possible if you think it's possible. Let's see what Dave's saying here.
Debates, that's right. The debates is going to be nail in the coffin for Carney. Well, look at this. We've got founder Klaus Schwab to step down as World Economic Forum's chair. I wonder what's going on there. Oh, old Klaus got too old. You got Mandy saying, well, they lost the United...
Okay, first and foremost, I gotta ask this question. Is this an episode of Kardashians 2, 3, or 4? Or is this Dave actually coming with some factual content to his conservative audience? That is the question, folks. Take it away, Dave. What do you got, buddy?
United States. Almost like there is some kind of plan. We should make him eat bugs before he disappears. He's getting old. I bet Trudeau takes over. Interesting. Maybe Trudeau does take over. The emperor is ready to hand off the WF to his children. I had this article sent to me. This is the typical $1 million a day PR slander we're seeing from the CBC. Conservative campaign is a mess, party insiders say. That's right. Who's this party insider? We don't know. They won't say. They won't say. This just in. I'm getting a word here directly from...
Yeah, that's Martians calling you there, David. The Martians calling. Elon Musk and the Martians. Like, come on, buddy. Confidential sources remain confidential.
From the Liberal Party. Turns out their party's a mess. Sorry, I can't give you my source, though. Next up, we got Stephen...
Oh, and then blame the CBC because, it can't be impartial. Of course not. God bless the CBC. We need it because we need a media outlet that is impartial. Because Post Media, which owns the National Post, the Toronto Sun group of papers, and Financial Post, and probably one of the biggest owners of conservative, strong conservative-leaning media outlets in Canada. They even actually owned AMI Media at one point. Chatham Asset Management, it's an American hedge fund. But, they had a problem. They were blackmailing Jeff Bezos. Can you believe that? Jeff Bezos got blackmailed. So you manipulate American politics. Got to help the Trumpster. As a matter of fact, Danielle Smith helped the Trumpster. She went down to Mar-a-Lago and said, Donald, hold those tariffs for a while because your tariff situation's creating a movement towards the Liberals, and we need you to hold off so that we can get Pierre Poilievre installed as Prime Minister because we know Pierre Poilievre is more in sync with your way of thinking, and then we can do some better deals together. That's what she said. Breitbart's got it. It's there. 192 kilopascals. It's in living color, way I recorded it. So nonetheless, I digressed a little bit, but I just set the record straight and let you know what's really going on here. Now, let's see what we got here with David. Take it away, David.
Taylor doing a masterful job of humiliating Mark Carney, pointing out that he lied. He lied again to all of Canada in his press conference. As he says, why would Mark Carney lie about something so easy to look up? Watch.
The financial crisis, 2008-9, when I was governor, we avoided a recession. We're now in recession with GDP.
Yeah, there's no doubt he made a slip up there. But what are you going to do? Humiliate a guy? Maybe the guy doesn't even realize it. Some people don't realize when they make these mistakes. Then they catch the gaff after. But when you're under this intense a light, people overemphasize cause and effect.
He projected to fall by 1.2% this year.
This guy is a chronic liar. He lies about every single thing.
No, David, he doesn't lie about every single thing. But on that video receipt back, he made a misrepresentation. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But if it provides any comfort and more to shed light on the actual topic, what he did created a situation where the effect of the recession was very minimal. As a matter of fact, Canadian performance was better than any other country in the G7 in total. Just so you know, sir.
Like, what is wrong with this guy? Anyone who lies that much, it's a character trait. He's been doing this for his entire life. And we see that with the plagiarism, with his doctoral thesis back.
Doctoral thesis because some third-party independent said, oh, my opinion. Do you understand what my opinion is? Like my opinion piece, your opinion, which has no merit with any doctorate or the awarding of a doctorate to Mr. Carney, which you must surely be aware of. Just saying, David. Just stick with the facts, buddy.
From whatever, 25, 30 years ago. Clearly he has no problem lying. It's who the man is. Glad someone else picked up on this. I don't think he really remembers much about Canada. The lies just keep stacking up every week. Canadians need to see this. How can you vote for a prime minister that lies so casually? This is up to at least about 10 major lies now that
Okay, if you want to do fact checking, like Pierre Poilievre lies all the time. He's got 1,000 lies for every one lie that Mark Carney's done, so how's that for a comparison? But don't fact check me on that because I haven't done the research on it. But based on what I've seen, I can assume that there's a disparity, whereas Mr. Pierre Poilievre does not know what he's doing. He's a good politician. He's a good slogan maker. And as he stated in the Jordan B. Peterson podcast, I'm a prosecutor. He's not a prime minister. He's a prosecutor. He said it right there. Peterson, how are you going to fix the situation? The reply by Pierre Poilievre, I'm not going to tell you. So there you go. And that's prime minister material? Furthermore, let's go furthermore. Mr. Pierre Poilievre was part of the cabinet of the Stephen Harper government that had a recession and quite a few quarters of negative growth. And then the guy that took over was a guy by the name of Justin Trudeau. He had to take over, clean up the mess left by Stephen Harper et al., which included Mr. Pierre Poilievre, the prosecutor. Furthermore, back during that tenor, the Conservatives cut border security. Yeah, cut border security, because that's what they do. They do tax cuts, and they cut services. That's how they work. They advocate the Milton Friedman way of doing business, which is balanced budgets, which you look at the American President Coolidge side. after he balanced the budget, created a recession. Clinton, after he balanced the budget and had a surplus, created a recession. So you really don't understand that a Canadian household, a Canadian household budget, a business budget, and a government budget need to apply differently within the social environment. The same does not apply to each step. So a municipal budget, provincial budget, and a federal budget all need to be done differently. A home budget, a private corporation budget, which is a business budget, like maybe your mechanic or the guy that's doing home renovations, etc., his budget needs to be different, and a federal budget is different. Also, in a federal budget, you can do net zero, because net zero has to do carbon with the business, which is a different topic altogether, but zero-sum economics. And this is beyond what's being discussed because nobody discusses it. But I'm going to give you an example, Dave. 1985. Guy by the name of Mike Harris, conservative, slash. Call him Nash the Slash. If we're going to do slogans, might as well do it. Canadian healthcare in the Ontario system has not even recovered from the damage of Mike Harris in 1985. But let's refer to the boondoggle of the 407 at that time. Mike Harris sold it off. I believe SNC Lavalin had a hand in that. Amazing how that comes up. Depending on which side of the political fence you're on, you're going to point a finger. Insider dealing. Well, there's sometimes insider dealing all around you. Organized crime is probably the worst issue that nobody's even talking about. But nonetheless, I'm not going to digress and go down that rabbit hole. So the 407, they sold it for $3 billion to balance the budget. The guys that bought the 407 within about a decade or so made $30 billion. So go figure. Anyway, back to David. Come on, David. Let us know what you got on the table to convince people to vote for Pierre Poilievre. Oh, I want to add one more thing. I'm not a card-carrying conservative, not a card-carrying liberal, nor NDP. I only want what is best from my perspective, what I think is best for my community, my province, and the federal government for everybody. And if it means Mark Carney, which I believe it does under these situations, that's the direction I'm leaning in. That's the way I've always approached things.
He's done. It's not even been a month
Take it away,
yet.
David.
Well, look, we have here this bumbling buffoon Jagmeet Singh. Here's a campaign update. What is this? Like, what?
Hold on. Bumbling buffoon? Do you always introduce people like that? If you were married, you're going to say, meet my bubbling buffoon wife? Come on, have some common decency, dear sir.
What is this? As Ryan Garrettson says, is Jagmeet purposely tanking the NDP? It looks like it. You know, they bring on an OF model onto their campaign bus. Update, now she's off the bus because big...
No. Jagmeet Singh is actually a half-decent guy. He's not ready to be prime minister. He's not mature enough to, but he is a sincere guy. He means well. He's losing the vote because people are worried about Pierre Poilievre becoming prime minister, and a lot of people don't think Pierre Poilievre is the right kind of person, has the right kind of temperament to be a prime minister. And this is why support is bleeding from the NDP to the Liberal Party. Cut and dry, simple as that. And I agree with that. It's rather unfortunate because I like Jagmeet Singh, but it's necessary under the climate we're dealing with now and dealing with Donald Trump. Simple as that. That's why we need a majority Liberal government.
Backlash? Dumb idea to mix that brand with the NDP? Kind of stupid? Really stupid? Did they not vet her? I understand them wanting to bring on some influencers to get free marketing, but you got to pick the right influencers, not an OF model. And like, what is this? And speaking of Jagmeet Singh, we got Table Salt posting this one. This is hilarious. So we're going to look at the girl.
Now, here's another thing. This video here, this is supposed to be a CPAC video. You see a CPAC in the corner. Somebody's altered this. I could be wrong, but somebody's altered this video of Jagmeet Singh.
On the over Jagmeet's shoulder here when he talks about fighting for people. This is embarrassing.
I've got a message to Donald Trump. You Democrats and workers are going to fight back and defend our jobs and our country. We're ready to fight back. You've got a message to Donald
It just makes him look so stupid.
Trump. We're ready to fight back.
Yeah, but what's even worse, the fact that you think this might be a credible source for a video. That's what's more worrisome, David. I'm just telling you, sir. My point of view.
She's not buying it, man. Nobody back here is buying it. Canadian heritage moment. Why is he wearing a wetsuit? Yeah, why is he wearing a wetsuit? It's probably just the bad lighting there. That party needs new leadership. I don't know why they didn't toss him out and switch it out. They would have been in a much better position now if they got rid of him. This is pure gold. Got this post shared by Jasmine Lane. By the way, congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. Well deserved. And as Jasmine says, twice in one day.
Prime Minister Carney did agree that once this
Oh, before we get any further on this topic, I want you to see something. And this is very, very important. Because nobody is looking at this. Okay? Nobody is looking at this. And we're going to go back to... Okay. This is going to be important based on what David's going to show us next. So listen carefully here. Oopsie.
In English before my.
You're absolutely right. The core tariffs with respect to fentanyl, automobiles, steel and aluminum remain in place with respect to an enormous series of trade measures that were announced yesterday. We have the best deal of a series of tough deals, bad deals in many respects. That is.
And bad deals, he's referring to these tariffs from the United States of America under the tutelage of Mr. Donald J. Trump. The Agent Orange, the Putin puppet.
Progress. That is recognizing the partnership. As well, what was also progress in the call the President and I had last week is this agreement that we will sit down, future Prime Minister.
There you go. He corrected himself, said future Prime Minister. Do you need me to put this out again?
Future Prime Minister and him as President will sit down.
Okay. So this is what's going to come up with Mr. Dave. But this is the fact. This is the same video where Mark Carney made the boo-boo about the 2008-2009 recession. But the 2009 recession, he did a wonderful job. It was minimal impact against Canada. Nonetheless, here we're at. This is where we're at.
this election is over, they would go back to the table and iron out some of the long-term specifics of not only the economic partnership, but also the defense and security relationship that is so crucial to our country.
Or whomever, I should point out, to be fair, since we're in a campaign, whomever is prime minister after the election, because we don't know the
Prime Minister.
Yeah, unless they're intending to rig the election. Can't just make these assumptions, Anita. And yeah, twice in one day, Mark Carney said it earlier. Now, there's good news. Our election process is very...
And there's even better news. I provided a video, the same video that Mr. Carney slipped up. I admit he slipped up. But yet, You're going to take one slant, one side on everything here, David, which is very troubling, sir. Very troubling, very disingenuous. And I'm just mildly emphasizing it, but it might be much more serious than you realize, sir. Have you thought about getting help?
Very secure,
Just saying.
so I don't think there's going to be any rigging. But if we see some sort of blowout after these big Pierre Poilievre rallies, then something might be suspicious. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Canadians better come out and make this election too big to rig.
Sure.
Exactly. Anita is in a dream
Too
world.
big to
Next up here,
rig.
we're gonna take a
Another
look at-
friggin' Donald Trump thing. This is the thing. It should be a perfect example of what has happened down in the United States is a living example in real time to tell you why voting conservative is not such a good idea. Look at what Donald Trump's doing to the world. Got to understand, Stephen Harper is consulting for Danielle Smith of Alberta and advising her. Stephen Harper is the chairman of the board. He's not the chair, which is a different topic altogether, but he's chairman of the board of the IDU org, which has as one of its members the treasurer of the Republican Party. Just saying, folks.
At Pierre Poilievre's record-breaking rally, but before we do that, we're going to take a look at this post here from Mark Carney. So something else that they're doing, I pointed out that they add mirrors to all the events they go to. I'm guessing they go and install mirrors, or they find rooms that have mirrors all over them.
But maybe, Dave, I'm going to throw it out there, but just maybe, Dave, it's a small room. They can only fit so many people in the room. They need mirrors to make the room look bigger than what it is. How's that sound? Sound good? Right on.
Because they want to double the size of their small crowds. They also use these cards to block all the extra space. It looks fuller when you have these cards
Well,
up here.
I'm not
It
into
also adds a lot of
belittling
contrast, the
people
white and the red, which just is
constantly.
more playful on the eyes.
Over belittling people. It's, it's just another form of bullying. It just makes no sense. Okay, and so we got a lot of stuff here about crowd sizes over Poilievre. And there's another parallel between Donald Trump and his need for pointing out crowd sizes. You understand this is an ego issue, folks. So not only have people created more separation by left wing, right wing, they've got themselves convinced that's the only way it can be because they associate with on an egoistic level. They can't think for themselves 95% of the time through the upper cortex, through the front of the upper lobes, left and right. You're being programmed. Unless you consciously disagree and change the programming, you're being programmed 95% of the time. Just a tip for you there, Dave, and the rest of you people out there.
Absolutely epic. I'll just make that full screen. You guys can see the full breadth of it. Amazing. Blue Wave is great.
So crowd sizes are important, as you see. We're going over the crowd sizes. Oh, and this one here.
And we are going to restore.
In this one here, actually, there was a medical emergency and a nurse actually helped a guy out, just so you know. Just for the record. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. We got something slightly different.
It was having none of it. No, they were not. So next up, we got Marty.
So we have something slightly different here. We've got a third party that's an electorate person of note because this person aligns with David and where this information's coming from. Guy from Kingston, Ontario. Which I know Kingston, Ontario fairly well. As a matter of fact, their main newspaper used to be called the Whig Standard. I don't know if it's still there or not. Amazing, and this is called the Whig Tory. Can you imagine that? What gives? Must be something to it, eh?
Up north here, and he goes on a full-blown rant here for 7 minutes. I'm all for it. We need more full-blown rants in Canada, considering the state of our country. But towards the end of the video here, listen to this. He's talking about the rallies in Kingston.
And we're not taking it anymore. I don't believe the polls one bit. Wake up.
We're not taking it anymore. What group had that song?
Those big rallies that are occurring in Kingston. Kingston is a liberal stronghold, and Pierre went there yesterday and had a rally with 5,000 people. Meanwhile, Mark Carney is holding his rallies at the local A&W with 12 people. Yeah, no. Wake up, folks. Wake up, folks.
Technically, I think it was a pub, but sure, A&W accommodate the same amount of people.
Liberals were one of the biggest disasters in Canadian history.
Oh. Liberals were the biggest disaster in Canadian history, were they? I see. Well, let's go back here. Let's refresh your memory a little bit. Now, a guy by the name of Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister just after November 2015. After Stephen Harper et al., which included Pierre Poilievre, had 5 negative quarters of productivity in relation to GDP in 2015. So that forced an election. Justin Trudeau won and had some growth. 2 more quarters just after he took over were negative again. And then they pulled things out. Now here's the thing that nobody's taken into consideration now. Within less than 3 years' time, or approximately 3 years' time, which does not give anybody much time to steer a country, let's face it, steering a country in the financial direction of a country is not like steering your car. It's not like steering, even if you take big corporate business, like National Post, which is owned by an American hedge fund that blackmailed Jeff Bezos at one time, and also paid hush money to help Donald Trump get elected. We won't National Post, Post Media, Financial Post. That's where this comes from, Financial Post. But anyways, Trudeau took over from Harper et al., which included Pierre Poilievre, had less than 3 years. To right the economy. And then, you say, holy moly, you got more, Michael? Yes, I do. And then, December 2019, it came to the attention of the World Health Organization that the COVID-19 pandemic panic was upon the world. If you take a look at today is April 5th. It's on a Saturday. The last week, since Trump tariffs have come out and now he's attacked the world with tariffs, the markets have friggin' tanked. But look at March 2020, 3 times. Huge declines in the markets, the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones affects the TSX, affects everything around the world. It just crippled the economy around the world. Now we're in 2025 April, and surprisingly enough, we've just recovered from the effect of the global pandemic that started December 2019. You notice, look at all the drops there in March 2020, then June 2020, Now look at April 3, 2025, 1679. And subsequent, April 4th was even worse. You hit over 2,000. So we're starting to get into the territory of 0309 2020. Or probably closer to 0312 2020. So brace yourself for more crap coming, kids. That created an inflation spike back then that took years to get a handle on. But you just don't get it. You play the blame game. Nobody looks at things, the real facts and what's going on. Facts mean nothing. We just have to, obviously revert to opinion pieces without any fact. And basically it's misinformation, because when you look at circumstantially what the events were at the time, maybe the Liberals didn't do too bad, all considering what went down. Because of inflation, because of the pandemic, the U.S. put a guy like Trump in place. Guy like Trump. Crime's bad, crime's bad. We hear about crime all the time from the conservatives. Crime's bad, crime's bad. Need tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts. Look what it's doing to the world economy now. It's going into the crapper, Dave. Big time. And you want to take Canada with it? Come on. Wake up, buddy. If you want to discuss it, I'm free to discuss this further with you one-on-one. No problem, sir.
Yeah, we need to look at the rallies now. We're not looking at polls anymore, because we know the Liberals have been able to manipulate them. And not necessarily through nefarious ways by paying off companies, although we are seeing a couple companies seem to be putting out dirty data. But it's more just, I'm guessing...
Dirty data. What did I just show you? How misdirected you already are. You're misleading people. And it's people's lives, people's families, their children, their grandchildren. These are the things we really need to think of, sir. We do.
The Liberals spent time to ask questions and figure out what questions would yield results that they like. And I saw on a podcast somewhere, I can't remember, I'm sorry, I don't have the source of it. Someone was saying down in America that instead of asking the question, who are you going to vote for, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, they started asking the question, who do you think your neighbor would vote for? And they'd get much more accurate results, because that way someone's not exposing that they want to vote for Donald Trump. They can just say, oh, my neighbor, he would vote for Donald Trump. And after that, the results were much more accurate. I believe that was the example. Either way, the question, that was the point, asking that question. And I would love to see a polling company ask that question instead of who you're going to vote for. Even though in Canada, we don't have this thing where, Donald
Dave,
Trump is the
how far are you going to take
People
this? Can we move on here? I'm going to move you on, okay? I'm going to move you on. Here we go. Okay, here's the next topic.
Done over the past 8 or 9 years. We need to see what is in those SCTC documents. So there's a lot of Liberals today. They're very annoyed that Pierre was sharing the Blacklock's reporter post showing that Mark Carney is compromised by authoritarian regime in Beijing, lobbying for the mayor of Beijing, all of that. Why don't these people wake up and realize that our government's compromised? Just look at how they reduce penalty for crime. Crime rates have gone up, and they seem to be okay with.
There we go, the crime rate stuff. Crime rate BS. Scare you with crime rates. Gonna scare you because crime. Gonna stoke the fear of God in you. Hallelujah. All they're doing is just friggin' tweaking your central nervous system, putting you in a fight and flight mode that you can't think for yourself, because fear works. Fear changes the way people think. Now, this Chinese state-owned, holy crap. But anyways, this is all referring to or inferring Brookfield. Now, his name's Mark Carney. It's not Mr. Brookfield. Brookfield was owned by the Edper Group of companies back in 1959, which operated, for the most part, out of Brazil. And if you know a little bit about the Brazil Power and Light Company, William Mackenzie, back in the early 1900s, had an interest in the business. But anyways, 1959, Edper, the Brofman brothers, two brothers, created an empire of businesses, the Edberg Group, a Byzantine, intricate, very complex structuring of businesses that markets had a difficult time understanding, morphed into a company called Brookfield. And it's a large, publicly traded company where not one person owns it. There may be a few people that have high interest or the net value that's high in the business, but Carney, no. He may have some stock options for his tenure for the job that he did, which a lot of corporations do in big corporations. But that's where it stops. Don't make it into something that does not exist, David. Just let it go. Moose on the loose. Let it go, buddy. You'll sleep better, and you'll help your constituents that you're trying to help much better as well.
With it. Maybe these people haven't been invaded in their home yet, haven't had their car stolen, haven't been mugged on the street. Does every liberal need to be...
I live in a city where millions of people live, and I'm very safe, buddy. I don't worry about a home invasion. I don't worry about my car being stolen. Some people get their cars stolen, and it's usually a result of organized crime. And then you have to question why the provincial government, which handles that, which is a conservative government in the province of Ontario, has not addressed this crime issue that you speak of. And then below the provincial government, you got a municipal government that does the big cities. And who helps finance that? The provincial government, run by conservatives. So you create this fear. You say it's crime. But the crime is from your own backyard, if you want to play that game. Makes no sense, sir.
Mugged before they realize that our government is not working for us right now. In my previous video, I showed you all those posts. Mark Carney and all his dealings with China. He is knee deep in China. If Mark Carney wins this election, he'll be separating us further from America. And
shishi ni, kamsamada, domo. You know, like I can speak multiple languages from the Pacific Rim. But, doesn't mean I have I can go to the White Cloud Temple in Beijing, which is a Taoist monastery, and be welcomed. Does it mean I'm beholden to the Chinese government and I've sold out my country because I know people in China? Come on, give me a break, pal.
And connecting us more with China. That's the last thing we need. So got another clip here from Sunduran. More fun in Canada, as we're always used to seeing. This is 5 armed men break into a Hamilton home to steal their Corvette and a Jeep. Thanks, Liberals.
This is what's happening.
What's that got to do with Liberals? Hamilton is a small city in the province of Ontario that comes under a conservative government, guy that's in his 4th term by the name of Doug Ford. So that's the guy that should be dealing with this issue. But you're making this into something that's not truthful, not factual, misinformation, misleading people.
Happening across Canada and in all of our suburbs and communities. These 5 armed men come with hammers to break into this family home at 2 in the morning. This is in Winona near Hamilton, Ontario. Look at this madness. Look how many of them there are. 5 of these men coming armed. This family is an absolute terror after this, and all to steal their vehicles that are parked outside. Listen to this. Listen. They're trying to grab the Jeep and the Corvette.
These people all need to be fired out of a cannon into a volcano. It's not better.
Oh, jeez. Is that the way you deal with things? Is that how you fix the problem? Why don't we fix the problem about affordability and not blame it on government? The circumstances that create affordability issues I've already expressed. Number 1 is cheap money through the Bank of Canada for too many years. Number 2 is since 1972, the government that used to build a lot of affordable housing drop like a rock and stop building it. Number 3, provincial governments like the Doug Ford government in Ontario deregulate, because you're into tax cuts and free markets, so they deregulate, take away rent controls. Corporations buy up all the rental properties. They get software from the United States, and they start price fixing and raising the rates. Let's be serious about where the issues are, what the problems are, and the way we need to fix them. And it's a lot deeper than what you're presenting here, Dave. Tax cuts is not going to do it. Opening free markets is not going to do it. This is why Carney's gone to the UK and to France. We need new trade relations. Absolutely new trade relations. Also, Carney, as stated by July 1, 2025, it is his desire, and lots going to end up, Scott Moe and Danielle Smith, which are conservatives that, they like to go against the grain. Hopefully they'll work together with all the provinces across Canada. We get rid of the interprovincial barriers, and that will help greatly mitigate the effects of the tariffs with the United States, so that we can deal with the United States in a way we're in control of our own destiny and works best for us as Canadians. And that's the way it should be looked at. Your opinion may vary, and you're welcome to present it.
Better having these people in our country.
Look at this. This idiot doesn't know how to open this. This is what's happening every single day across our communities. None of this was talked about in the liberal English debate. They didn't want to talk about this, our government, because it's happening every single day. You guys keep sending me these videos. These criminals, there's no consequences for their actions.
Wake up, buddy. Get an education. Understand where the problem is and what bodies deal with the issue that you're talking about. And don't point a finger in a direction that leads nowhere, because that's not where it should be dealt with. You just don't get it. This is going to go on for a bit more. No point in just friggin' beating this drum a little bit further. It makes no sense. What do we got here? Take it away, Dave.
I don't understand who would oppose this. The Liberal Party of Canada would, because they've made this easy for people. And you have to wonder why they want crime so bad in our country. Then it makes you question, why do we have this big problem with street fentanyl and cartel?
Buddy, nobody wants crime anywhere, okay? Like, why do you think like that? Nobody wants it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Have you got anything else you can add to this friggin' video, or we just got to end it right here and now? Let's see what else we got here.
Happy. That's the penalty a lot of these criminals get, depending on what they did during their crime, etc. But fear is the tool of tyrants. 12-gauge spread shot, 2 rounds, problem solved. Canadians need to be able to defend ourselves. With a state of crime and corruption, at what point do Liberal supporters eventually break and decide, you know what, it's time to get our country back?
Well, on behalf of everyone in this room...
Yikes. Yikes. It is sad, isn't it?
Eventually break and decide, you know what?
When are we going to take our country back? Well, they'll start first by not wasting another 4 years on a conservative government that's not going to help us during this tenuous, trying situation, number one. That's a good start, okay? Let's start with that. And I'm leaving the video at this point in time because I can't help Dave anymore. He's got his way of looking at things. I'm just trying to shed a different light upon the issue so you can look at things in a different manner, make your own educated decisions as to what works best for you, and don't let people influence your judgment. Get to know the facts, get to know what the real facts are and how it affects you, your community, and your country, and just vote appropriately based on that. And to deny your vote and not put it out there is not good either, because it's important that everybody get educated, everybody become vocal about their needs and what needs to be done to improve the lives of everybody. No need for pain and suffering. That's no need for that nonsense. A joyous, harmonious, and loving life is the only way to live. So let's work in that direction. So when anxiety gets a hold of you and things are getting you down, take a few deep breaths. Do not dwell on the topic that's causing the anxiety. Sleep on it. And if it's a problem that needs to be dealt with, deal with it the following day when you've had a good rest. Okay, so do what my friends do. Take a nap. Folks, love and peace to everybody. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all soon. Ciao for now.